here's 7 behind-the-scenes facts about Rocky V starring Sylvester Stallone. There's a really weird continuity error about the age of Rocky Jr., who is played by Stallone's real-life son, Sage. The break in continuity is that in Rocky IV, his son was portrayed as a 9-year-old child. But then in Rocky V, he all of a sudden became a teenager, despite the story taking place right after the events of Rocky IV. Even though this is the 5th movie, this is the first time Rocky's real name, Robert, has ever been mentioned in the franchise, and there are 2 parts of the movie where you can hear it. The first is when Rocky meets Tommy on the streets, and Duke pulls up in his limo and calls out Rocky's name as he gets out of the car. And the second time is when Rocky Jr. introduces himself as Robert to his new friend Jewel. After the huge success he had with Rocky IV, Stallone was paid $15 million to return to his signature role, which was an unbelievable pay raise when compared to his upfront salary of $23,000 he made on Rocky. But Rocky V went on to become both critically and commercially the worst film in the franchise, currently holding a 30% on Rotten Tomatoes and a score of 55 out of 100 on Metacritic, and Stallone himself personally ranked it as a 0 out of 10. If it wasn't for Rocky V's international sales, the movie wouldn't have made a profit, because it cost $42 million to make, and to this day, it has only made $40 million here in the US. Rocky V's story sees the boxer go bankrupt and return to his roots on the streets of Philadelphia. So the filmmakers were able to wax nostalgic and revisit many classic locations from the Italian Stallion's early beginnings. For example, Tommy Gunn's first fight takes place in the same location and even uses the same design aesthetics of Rocky's first fight in the first movie. You can spot a strange Rambo Easter egg in Rocky's house hanging on his staircase, where you'll find a Christmas card with a beefed-up reindeer and the word Bambo written on it, which is a play on words with Bambi and Stallone's other signature character, Rambo. In the years following the film's release, Sylvester Stallone acknowledged that the lethal form of brain damage that forced Rocky to retire was actually inaccurate. Stallone discussed the story with many boxing medical professionals, and the injury Rocky suffered from was more like a long-term concussion that many boxers suffer from. So in reality, Rocky's injury would not have prevented him from gaining a boxing license, nor would it have killed him. Stallone once thought about killing off Rocky at the end of Rocky III, but lacked the cojones to really go through with it. However, for Rocky V, he fully intended to do it, and Stallone even admitted that he cried while writing the death of his iconic character. But the studio executives stepped in and demanded Rocky be kept alive, because he was too iconic, or in other words, too profitable of a character to kill off. So Stallone changed the ending to acquiesce their request. Click a video to enjoy more great content right here on Fun Fact Films.